Well, hello there, and welcome back to War Thunder. And I'm sure you recognize that sound by now if you've played in any games with the mouse. And no, this is not the mouse review. So I won't be talking about specifics about this machine in this video, but don't worry, the mouse review will probably be coming tomorrow. But you can take it for fact that I do really like this tank. And this is a realistic battle on Kuban. Now, the mouse is also very slow, so I'm driving to kind of a middle point in between B and A, with the goal being to support allied tanks as they try and take both of those cap zones. And this was a clip I had been saving for the review, but then I decided, you know what, I don't want to make this part of the review. I had probably a better clip for the review, so I was like, okay, I'll just make it its own video. That seems fair. Now, I mentioned in yesterday's video about how I'm going to be gone for a while. It seems like I might still be here today, Friday, because we might be getting some ice, some snow, and I have very little experience driving on those conditions. So I may not leave Friday. I might wait until Saturday, or I might try and see if there's a time when I can sort of sneak out of here. But hopefully I'll be able to get out of here, but I'm not going to risk driving around on icy highways and things like that. It's not worth it. But we've captured both zones, you know, B and A, which is nice. And it looks like we have some tanks heading towards C, which is also nice. But there are plenty of enemy tanks who would like to contest our hold on the A zone. And B, for that matter. So I've come up over here where this King Tiger 105 is, and I'm going to start trying to trade shells with other tanks. Now, the mouse is very good at sort of trading fire, because its armor allows it to kind of just sit there. You angle the turret, you angle the hull, and then when you're ready to fire, you just sort of swing your gun around, fire, and then go back. Now, that being said, IS-4s are still tough nuts to crack. I haven't killed many IS-4s frontally in this tank. I think, this is a big think, I think if I use HE, I can sneak a shell into the groove on either side of the turret. But T-54s, you know, just get out of here, get wrecked. The mouse is definitely effective at killing T-54s. But still need to deal with this IS-4 over here. So I'm kind of angling my armor to make life difficult for him. I'm just looking for a way to... There's an IS-3 shows up, and oof, rough bounce there. IS-3s are very, very troll. The spaced armor and the angled armor, it's difficult. And this 75mm gun isn't really at all useful against an IS-7, or an IS-3, sorry, rather. But he's trying to make it easier for me. He's definitely trying. Haven't taken full advantage of it yet. I'm just harassing him with the heat rounds from the 75mm. And speaking of the 75, and I'll cover it more in the review, but I don't find switching to the 75mm sight at all useful. And the reason I say that is it doesn't turn the turret, right? Only the main gun turns the turret. This is a ZSU, and the mouse is one of the few tanks in the game where the ZSU I don't think can actually kill it. If you just face it frontally or even from the rear, I'm not sure the ZSU can kill it. But now it's time to move up. I've gotten bored of this position. It's time to move up. And there's one of those rolling trees again. But the 75, it doesn't turn the turret, which is awkward because a lot of times the 75 would be really useful, but I can't switch to the sight because I need to turn the turret still to track an enemy. But so I have to sit with the main gun, and then I actually have to fire the main gun. See, for example, here I lined up the shell, my main gun, and then I switched to the 75 to put that shot onto the AI there. But now I'm going to switch back, and just kind of give up on that one. The 75 is not tremendously useful. I have killed tanks with it, and it can be useful, but it's not, you know, it's just kind of one of those things where it's like after you fire the main gun, it becomes useful. But while the main gun is loaded, it's difficult to really use effectively. And here you see the lovely mouse's ability. The mouse's ability to climb slopes is fantastic. It goes so slow. But it is a fun tank, and don't worry, full review coming either tomorrow or the next day, depending on a different video that I mentioned before coming out. T-54, fuck you. Go back to Soviet Russia. Get out of here. Rip. Rip in peace. Ripped as he lived, in pieces. Now there's a T-40, not a T-47, a M47 over here, and my gun barrel is actually damaged right now. And one thing you have to get used to with the mouse is that your ragdoll won't show when your gun is damaged, because there's two guns, right? Both have to be damaged, I think, to show. So it's important to have a key bound to your x-ray view so you can see what exactly is broken in your tank. And that's how I realized that my cannon barrel was broken, or at least damaged. IS-3 tries to come over and take a shot at me, but he hits the ground. A little awkward. He certainly could have knocked me out from that position. M47 comes back up, and he's not having a tremendous amount of luck penetrating. I don't think he was using the APCR. If he was using the APCR, he certainly could have penetrated the side of my turret, but especially at that range. But he might be using either the heat, which struggles against slope surfaces, or he might be using the just AP or something like that, in which case he has zero chance of penetrating. But just waiting for someone. Oh, there's the IS-3. That's what I'm kind of saying. The IS-3 is pretty troll. It's a pretty troll tank from the front. A lot of times, for some reason, it seems like the Jagdtiger and the Mouse seem to bounce it a lot more than other tanks. For example, my King Tigers with the 88mm guns, I very rarely bounce IS-3s, but for some reason the 128mm gun does. I'm going to back up and try and give the good news to this King Tiger here. Guns all loaded up. Actually, someone right there, you notice I'd stop moving, is because someone came in and needed something really quick. But rip King Tiger. And now the M47 though is still sitting here, and actually my 75mm gun's been knocked out, but I guess it shows how much I value the 75mm gun. I'm not going to stop and repair it. It's not something that I think is worth repairing when the main gun is still active. And, you know, rip M47. Lost a few crew members there, which is unfortunate. And I'm actually in a really awkward spot here. I got enemies to my right, enemies to my left, and they're all sort of converging on my location. The T-20 or the M26 there, I believe. Yeah, M26 went over the hill and got obliterated by the by some tank down here. I think it was the IS-3. And there you go. Nice hit into the IS-3. That's what we're talking about. Oh, oh, but enemies behind. And you can see the penetration hole in the front of the turret. And I'll, like I said, I'll speak about this more in the review, but the turret is probably the weakest part of this tank, but it is 220mm, or 220, one of the two. It's in excess of 200 millimeters. And the issue you have is that 200mm is a lot of armor for a turret, but it's not a lot of armor based on the shells you come against. Right, so it's kind of a unfortunate thing. But if you keep the turret angled, and if they don't hit you square on sort of the quote-unquote seam of the turret, you'll be fine. Hit that IS-4 on the side. IS-4s from the side are very easy. This AP shell will just absolutely obliterate any tank from the side. Now, from the front on the IS-4, it's a little more difficult. But that being said, Mouse is equipped with armor that can deal with IS-4s from the front. Trying to get reloaded to hit this IS-2. Don't knock him out, which, you know, a little sad. But IS-2s are a lot of times kind of iffy. And you'll find, I think, that a lot of times being knocked out in the mouse, a lot of times it was due to aircraft. The IL-2 gave me a good run right there. But the game is basically, it's really in the balance. It's not looking good. So I jump into my Tiger with the King Tiger with the 105 to try and get this game back. It was a really fun game. It's just I want to win. And a lot of people have been asking for a revisit to the King Tiger 105. And don't worry, it's coming. It's probably going to be... It's going to be the project I start after I finish the mouse review, which, like I said, should be in either tomorrow or the next day. And it's also going to be after another project I have planned that I mentioned in yesterday's video, with some well, not new features, but features I've been using more of in War Thunder. So, but that video is the features video. I think isn't that far from completion. It might be the video after the mouse, or the video, or maybe a couple days after the mouse, and then King Tiger 105 revisit will be my next sort of thing to do. And with the King Tiger revisit, I think the structure I'm going to do is I'm going to go in the garage and talk about just the changes really fast, like nothing huge, because a lot of the information is still valid, like the armor and things like that. But I will certainly discuss the engine change, and then I'll probably have one replay. It's not going to be a super long review, because I've already given this tank, you know, a healthy video to talk about it generally. And the changes, they were, you know, the engine change is significant, but it's not so significant that I need to re-review the tank, if that makes any sense. You can see that we're giving some serious good news to these dudes. But the enemy have really put us in a tough spot. We're capping C, they're capping A, they've capped A. You know, we need to cap C to stop the ticket counter going down. We also need to stop dying for the to also keep the ticket from going down. And I'm trying to make a quick run over to A so that I can... Oh, enemy tank. Shoot him. Shoot him. There you go. Right in the side of the turret. That'll do it. And I'm doing all this with AP shells, which is good. I mean, the King Tiger 105 has a very effective AP shell. From the front, I would probably use APCR against the turret of a T-54, but from the sides, it's perfectly adequate to use the AP. There's more, I guess you could say there's more flat surface because the gun isn't there anymore. I'm trying to rush over into A, and oh no, turn quick. You don't see it, but I do. There's T-54. Do him. Do him. Get him. And we trade shots. I kill him. He sets me on fire. I start capping. Well, I am capping A. But, regrettably, we end up losing a tank or something and we lose the game. Very sad. But it was a really fun game, and I wanted to show this outside of the mouse review because, you know, it has a mouse clip, but it also has a good little clip for the King Tiger 105. It gives me an opportunity to talk about both tanks. But, like I said, mouse review probably coming tomorrow or the next day. King Tiger Revisit will come after a different video I have in mind in between the mouse review and the revisit. And then I think after that I might move on to the M26 or something like that. Maybe talk about some of the new premiums that have come into the game. But all that and more coming up in the near future. And anyway, I want to thank you guys for watching. I've been Corny Swiss. I'll see you next time.